On this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq, the Corps of Engineers helping out in northern Iraq, and the Iraqi court system gets a boost. These stories and more on today's FJI. Hello, I'm Air Force Sergeant Braden Smith. Welcome to this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq. New construction is springing up throughout Iraq, and in the northern region, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is focusing on building up an already solid foundation. Petty Officer Patrick Dilley takes us on a tour of some of the projects taking shape.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at Gulf Region District North manage dozens of construction projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars throughout northern Iraq. The Corps' progress here attracted the multinational force Iraq Command Sergeant Major, who made his way here from Baghdad to visit some of the key sites. The first is here in the Kurdish capital city of Erbil, at the site of a new facility for the city's youngest and oldest citizens. The estimated $3.7 million Erbil Orphanage and Senior Center project will provide multi-purpose and living facilities and recreation areas for nearly 300 orphans and 60 seniors. It's a scope of construction that hasn't received much attention in the past.
I am sure that many projects, such kind of projects, this will be happening in our country, because really this is the first time for us to see such kind of project to be implemented for a type of peoples which was forgotten previously.
Crews make rapid progress in this region of the country, in part because of the oversight of the Corps of Engineers, but also because of the relatively stable social climate here.
In Kurdistan, for all the three towns, Erbil, Sulaimani, Duhok, it is easy. Security is 100%, and we are very interested with the situation.
Away from the urban sprawl of Erbil, these Corps of Engineers school construction projects are in the city of Duhok, nestled in the Kurdish mountains.
Yes, exactly.
Senior leadership from the Gulf Region District has also joined the tour and has taken a special interest in some of the difficulties project managers face here.
The GRD mission, the MN5 mission, one of our missions is to build capacity.
Yes.
We need to know what can get in the way of progress.
There you go.
In the case of Shindoka Secondary School, it's the rising cost of materials and funding issues tied to a contract negotiated nearly a year ago.
There is really no relief for this particular type of situation under their current contract.
But the resident engineer in the city is anxious to press forward at Shindoka and at Malta and Zeriland secondary schools across town. The Corps of Engineers bring their experience to this water project as well. The $1.5 million job feeds clean drinking water to the new Mossack neighborhood and replaces damaged lines to the Jamai Bini water network. But material costs are affecting this job too. This fitting has doubled in cost, along with the PVC pipes and installation equipment. Project managers are having to overcome tight budget constraints in order to complete construction by late fall.
But they're staying on target. They're holding true to the contract, right, and they're doing it for the people of Iraq.
People who are benefiting from the continued support and leadership of the Corps of Engineers and multinational force Iraq. Petty Officer Patrick Dilley, Duhok, Iraq.
Coming up, fighting fires, how the Iraqis are getting the job done.
Here's your raid report. Iraqi security forces and U.S. soldiers seized munitions and caches throughout the Baghdad area. The soldiers found mortar rounds, IED-making materials, rockets, and various other weapons and munitions. Iraqi National Police and U.S. soldiers detained a suspected criminal in the New Baghdad district. The suspect is believed to have carried out improvised explosive device attacks and indirect fire attacks on coalition forces. Iraqi security forces captured 3 suspected Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Qaeda in Iraq terrorists and detained 18 others in separate operations in northern Iraq. Iraqi National Police and U.S. soldiers seized a weapons cache in the New Baghdad district of Baghdad. The forces seized a 6-inch explosively formed projectile, rocket-propelled grenades, and an improvised explosive device. And that's your raid report. I'm Petty Officer Patrick Dilley.
Here are the latest Operation Iraqi Freedom headlines. The Iraqi Electoral Commission told the Council of Representatives it would not be able to hold provincial elections as scheduled in October. The delay is due to the Council's failure to approve an election law in time. Prime Minister Maliki met with Grand Ayatollah Sistani in Najaf to discuss political and security developments. Sistani was briefed on negotiations with the U.S. and reportedly expressed his continued support for the government's security efforts. In a sign of increasing cooperation between Iraq and its neighbors, Iraqi police officers from the Ministry of Interior are attending an anti-drug trafficking program conducted in Dubai. Iraqi security forces still require assistance from teams of U.S. advisors. These advisors could remain in Iraq for years after most U.S. combat troops redeploy. Those are your headlines from around the region. I'm Airman First Class Shaylin Jordan.
The government of Iraq is putting a lot of money and effort into rebuilding the country. Airman First Class Shaylin Jordan shows us a new facility that will allow the court system in Iraq to operate safely.
As Iraq is becoming more independent, the need for secure government facilities is necessary. One example of a government body that requires high security is the court system. Currently under construction is the Rusafa Central Courthouse and Witness Security Facility. The courthouse building has courtrooms for the High Judicial Court of Iraq, as well as conference rooms and offices. The Witness Security Facility contains living quarters for witnesses and offices for judges and other legal advisors.
This is a fine example of the Iraqi people and the U.S. government coming together to provide a secure and stable courthouse for Iraqi judges to adjudicate civil, felony, and appeals courts for approximately 1.2 million Iraqi people in the Rusafa area and adjacent areas east of the Tigris River. The project is about 90% complete at this point, and we expect to be completed in September of this year.
While the U.S. is helping with the project, Iraqis have done the majority of work.
Well, the Americans help the Iraqis with the requirements, but actually all of the construction and design is done by the Iraqi contractor, working in close concert with its American engineers and construction folks at Gulf Region Division.
The facilities will serve Iraqi citizens by providing a safe place for the justice system in the country. Airman First Class Shaylin Jordan, Baghdad, Iraq.
Your house is on fire. You try to put it out with buckets of water, watching in horror as it burns to the ground. This is what life was like for many Iraqis before 2003, but thanks to the work of the civil defense, along with the U.S. military, that has changed. Petty Officer Chris Newsom reports.
The Civil Defense Fire Department of Baghdad hosted a ceremony to show off their skill that they will use to help the Iraqi people. The show included members of the Iraqi Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team, as well as the fire department's rescue capabilities.
The firefighters in this country are really not much different than they are in any other country, where they put the safety of the average citizen first. I see a mix of all religious sects here. They don't delineate on the part of, well, you're one kind of person or another. If you're sick, you're ill, you're injured, you're in a fire, these professionals here will go ahead and provide instant response.
When it comes to equipment, the fire department was having some problems back in 2003. But that is now a thing of the past, thanks to the United States.
Today's meeting between coalition forces with our government. Both sides met and saw the exercise, vehicles, equipment, and equipment provided by the coalition. We told them these vehicles and equipment are new and helped us with providing assistance to citizens through new equipment. This exercise came to clarify the Iraqi government and the U.S. government's help. Currently, these new equipments are helping the Iraqi citizens.
Just in the last few years, with the help of the U.S. military, there are now 39 fire stations in Baghdad, up from 25 in 2003. The number of firefighters in Baghdad has grown as well, to more than 4,000 from the previous number of only 920. They have also increased their vehicle inventory to 360.
The Iraqi civil defense knows with new equipment and new training, they'll be able to serve the Iraqi people better. Petty Officer Chris Newsom, Baghdad.
That does it for this edition of our program. Check out mnf-iraq.com for all the latest OIF information. From all of us here at AFN and Freedom Journal Iraq, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.